Dustin writes Viva la vida across the skies to the beat of the ether before your eyes. Under the banner of heaven, 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 neon northern lights, winterland of white. Oh, I'll say this for what it's worth. I'll follow you to the center of the earth, to the firmament and back again, loving you till the end. And I will follow you to the end of days. The stars fall down upon the face of this place. And I will follow you till the end of time, when the veil lifts and we see the Most High. 'Cause my faith is so deep, like water surrounding the stars as they sing glory to the King. Above the banner of heaven, 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 one day we will see well beyond our dreams. I'll say this for what it's worth. I'll follow you to the edge of the earth, to the firmament and back again, loving you till the end. And all those kings went to the place, and they found the earth there filled with snow. And upon the snow were large stones of snow. And one said to the other, "Come, let us break through the snow and see. Perhaps the men that remained with Enoch are dead, and are now under the stones of snow." And they searched, but could not find him, for he had ascended into heaven.
In a world. All right, what's up? So, what's TFA, real or fake? It's me versus Dustin. We have Dave here moderating. So, I'm going to ask people, try to keep it respectful in the chat. Obviously, people have been losing their mind lately, being super disrespectful. I'm going to ask the mods to be pretty lenient, but if people are like just obscenely, redundantly disrespectful, I do want to keep it somewhat ordered tonight. And ask everyone be respectful. I know that is a pipe dream. So, I'm going to pass over to Dave, who is moderating, which is funny. So, Dave, what's up?
Hey, man. Am I right? You froze for a second. Am I good?
You're good. You're good.
All right. Yeah. So people thought, TFE got really strange, and it's about to get a lot stranger tonight. The fact that I'm moderating this debate is the most bizarre thing I've ever come across, but I'm happy to be here. Dustin and Austin are both big boys.
He froze for you too, huh? Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting conversation, but I want to point out. Am I?
Yeah, Dave. Yep, you froze for a second, went out.
Okay, right now.
Yeah.
Of course, first time this happens now. The one thing I want to say is, people are freaking out about the documentary that's going to come out. The circling sun is the least of our problems. The problem is how flat earthers look with these crazy claims. I'm a biased moderator, so I'll be fair. So we're going to start out. I guess Dustin will go first, 5 minutes, and then Austin will reply. Austin's been cramming all day for preparing for your answers by absolutely doing nothing until he set up the stream 10 minutes ago. But here we go. So Dustin,
you're muted, brother.
Yep.
Oops. Sorry. I'm not used to this program. Can you guys see this? Screen share?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's usually it doesn't work on some of these other programs. All right, so I did a post on this, and I was tracking basically what was happening because at first, obviously, I was less sure than I am now, but unsure, and I didn't know what was going on one way or the other. Now, I This post is at thesarahpayham.com for anyone who wants to follow the notes. It's titled "Every Flat Earth Model Predicts a 24-Hour Sun in Antarctica, but did they fake it?" There's a couple of caveats I want to basically get out there. By the way, I like your song. I made a song also. It's on the post here at the top. The details about the models are all available here at the top for those who are curious, but that's not really what's in controversy tonight. I'm not really here to debate a 24-hour sun as it affects a biblical or flat or globe Earth model. I'm really here about the controversy, the possible deception. So first, I think we still agree that it's flat, right, guys? So
yeah.
And that's, hopefully we can find some common ground tonight. I don't hate Witsit or Flat Earth Dave or Jaronism or anybody else. I genuinely want to believe that, he is innocent and will be able to explain his involvement in any form of wrongdoing tonight. For those who think I'm controlled op trying to take a loss, consider that it would be my first. And I don't intend to lose this one or go easy on him. I genuinely believe he is guilty as of this pre-debate writing. I took time from my dying dog to document all these lies around TFE because I genuinely believe they are trying to hide God by debunking biblical Earth. McToon quickly gloated of this in one of his subsequent videos proclaiming victory over Christians, as the rest of them, including Will Duffy, just generalizing, went on a victory tour for globe Earth based on lies. Austin did not, I don't think, do that. So to be fair to him, this is, it's against all of them. I saw enough to believe questions should be asked. At the very least, this McNASA production screams farce. Before this, Austin and Jaron and I were peers, and I respected them highly. I am neither flat nor globe Earth, but a biblical earther, which means flat, young, stationary, geocentric, and domed. I don't believe there's any evidence for lands beyond the ice wall. I have no preference, opinion, or bias, as I said, for a 24-hour Antarctic sun. One way or another, it's compatible with the biblical Earth models. Globe Earth still has no models. This must be understood clearly by all. This goes way beyond Vapegate. I'm not alleging that they did not go to Antarctica. Others have, but I'm not. I'm not alleging that Witsit knelt behind a barrel off camera, vaped, and then stood up and exhaled vape. That was an edited clip, and whoever did that should be exposed as a fraud. I think we can all agree on that. I hope we can agree that science requires questioning, and the Zetetic method means investigating or searching for answers through questioning and inquiry. No animosity required. So I hope we can agree to keep it personal ad homs and attacks out of it and focus on the arguments, because truth, as you say often, does not fear investigation. So the issues that I believe that we should address or need to be addressed as part of Was It Real, basically a catch-all index, title. There's some general, there's a lot of general deception breakdowns out there that go into some of this or all of this. One of them is known as footprint gate. Another one is the Duffy drone situation, or drone gate, people are calling it. Another one is vape gate. Another one is the round studio. Another one is the fake sun. What I call McShadow gate, but really all the shadows, the anomalies with all the different shadows. McToon gave us a very easy to point out 4 different angles in one small spot. We'll get to that later. Where is the Union Glacier camp? Other unusual anomalies, time anomalies, repeating CGI assets, camera anomalies, unanswered questions. And there are, if we have time, some possible occult connections. Hopefully it's not very strong stuff, I'll admit, from the top. So hopefully it's all fake, but it's all there. So these are the things I think we need to go into. I have some questions going in, I guess, before I hand it back to you. These 3 here, actually. Did Owen Benjamin, the video with Owen Benjamin happen before or after Vapegate? Did you guys have internet access? And where is the 24-hour live footage? So that's it for, my first, I guess, intro.
Okay. Cool. So quickly, just to answer those questions, no, I texted Owen Benjamin the day before we streamed because I saw he did a video on, he posted a video, it popped up on my X, him giving his take and how, it doesn't make the spinning globe true, but a bunch of flat earthers are acting lame, and kind of gave his take. And I resonated with his take, and I have like kind of a history with Owen before we ever met and stuff. So I texted him because everyone wanted to do a stream with me, but because I like Owen, I reached out to him and said I can jump on your program if you want. He said that would be awesome. So it was just really impromptu. We did a stream. I pulled a chair out and sat it in the snow, and then pulled up a little card table that had leaned up against the building. Whatever, we did the stream. So that was live, and it could obviously be fact checked and verified by just looking at his Telegram Bear Saloon, and you could look and see what the chats were, what time they were posted, and see him interacting with them live, even when I was on there and then afterwards, which I haven't done, of course, because I just know that you can do that. Did we have internet? They do have internet at the actual camp. When we left that camp, they have Starlink. When we left the camp, we had to set up our own internet. And then the third question, I forgot. It doesn't matter because we'll talk about those questions in a second. I want to lay a few things out. I want people to actually think about what they're accusing me of, okay? So I bought this shirt in the gift shop at Union Glacier. This is a 2T t-shirt, okay? So in the world that you guys live in and what you're accusing me of, I came home and gave my daughter a t-shirt and lied to her and deceived her. I just pulled this out of the dirty clothes. She wore this yesterday. Now, this doesn't prove anything. Okay, I just want you to really think about what you're accusing me of. I gave this to my daughter. She was wearing this yesterday. I also bought a 6-month one for my other daughter. Or maybe Aaliyah's in on it, you know? So I just want you to really think about the magnitude of what you're accusing me of. It's very heavy. And I want to go ahead and address the whole notion that keeps getting conflated. I find it disingenuous. I do not accuse or like blame people for having questions. The entire thing I've ever said on my channel is truth does not fear investigation. And I've said, don't just believe me, look into things, go find out for yourself. I stand behind both of those things. And I don't even blame people for being skeptical. We've seen tons of fakery with a 24-hour sun. That's why we went there, right? And honestly, Antarctica is a wild looking place. It's very pristine. It looks like something out of a movie. It's just like untouched by people. When you're there in person, it's very surreal. I actually had like a spiritual emotional moment on the way there, and so did almost everyone else on the plane. So I'm cool with questions. What I'm not cool with is lies and accusations, definitive claims, and when those are shown to be false, people double down, avoiding it, deflecting, diverting. That's exactly what the anti-flat earthers do to me and have done to me for years. I have no respect for that. No respect for it whatsoever, just like that video that he mentioned that was edited. Who did that? A flat earther that has like 30,000 subs on his channel did that. So I also discovered that a lot of these videos that are circulating were put out by very weird anonymous accounts or people that you can track down and prove that they've been posting globe propaganda for years. So flat earthers are being set up to take bait for easily disproven claims and edited videos to make us look bad. So we can get into all the specifics. And honestly, like Dave said, I didn't prep for this at all. Why would I, though? Why would I? So is there a scenario where you can find some random footage I haven't even seen and ask me a question about something I don't know? I don't know. Maybe. We're going to see what happens because I didn't have to prep for this. I'm not lying about anything. So just to wrap it up real concisely here, I promise that I went to Antarctica. I had no sleep. It sucked. We were screwed over. We were told we could bring one bag. We get there. All the Globers have tons of bags and tons of equipment. So we couldn't even bring that much stuff. We get like no sleep. They got there a day before us. We were able to rest up, make all their plans. They got the documentarian out there. They're trying to like converge on them, get all these plans and stuff like that. And then we get out there. We fly out there. They said we go to the other place. Like I said, we had to set up our own Starlink at the other place. And then they all have the Wi-Fi password for like 8-10 hours. We don't get it. We don't even get the Wi-Fi password. They have it. So like Critical Think and McToon and McKeegan and Duffy, they all have Wi-Fi. We don't. So we were like, and they were always whispering and making all these plans and like and scheming, right? And so we're dealing with that. We're obviously dealing with them gloating in front of us. We're dealing with all the Globers gloating. We're dealing with the mainstream taking Jaren out of context and slandering him. And then we turn around to the people that we thought had our back, and they're saying way more egregious lies. And this gives them more ammunition than anything. This is going to be all in the documentary. Now, it won't be because we protected you guys and we have final cut, final edit. They need us in it, so we'll have a large say in that film. But this is the number one thing that's making us look bad. It isn't that the sun does a circle, because whatever the sun does, it does it over a stationary flat Earth. Okay, so there's pretty much all I want to say. There's not really much more to say. I'm not lying about anything. I haven't lied about anything. I get why people are skeptical or whatever, but we have long-distance infrared footage from a plane flying into Antarctica, landing there, zooming in, long-distance infrared. It's just really kind of an absurd claim. So I'm happy to get into all the details, but one thing I do want to say, because I think I'm probably close to 5 minutes, is a lot of people are really going out on a limb and saying these things really definitively. Actually, Dustin's one of the few people that kind of haven't. Dustin's left like a window open for him to say, okay, now that my stuff's been answered, I'll walk it back and stuff like that. A lot of people are not doing that. And what I'm saying to you guys is I'm encouraging you, you're going to be faced with a moment you need to swallow your pride. And then if you're an actual truther, what you're not going to do is when you see the evidence and you see that you're wrong, double down the lies, keep going, deflecting, diverting, attacking. That is not what truthers do. And so I encourage people to be humble on both sides, humble enough to be like, okay, you admitted you're wrong. What's up? You timed it?
About 5 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
So that's the conclusion, man, is I want everyone to kind of take a step back and chill. Even I got upset at my stream last night.
Right.
And we needed to kind of wrap this up and smooth it out. So,
and just another thing, and by the way, I keep freezing, so if I freeze, just whatever. From a non-biased point of view, I was the guy that was supposed to go on this trip, so I must be in on it also. And by the way, if Austin was in on it, everything he said is what he would say. If he was lying, he would deny lying. So, look at the evidence. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so you want to go through your? What was your third question that I forgot? What is there a 24-hour?
Yeah.
Say again?
Footage. The 24-hour live footage.
So live footage. So by that you mean just like 24 hours consecutively unedited?
Yeah, because that's what was basically, they faked it for years, and then that's what was promised.
So yes, okay. So live stream. When we got there, they tried to set up a live stream. And this is one of their excuses for not giving us the Wi-Fi. They didn't want to take any chances with the bandwidth. They wanted to go live stream. Mark was there and tried to put it on Candace's Rumble. They set up a phone to do, and you had to manually move it and track it. At like 12 hours, a little after 12 hours, the phone crashed. So the live stream didn't work. But we do have, and I have on my computer right now, 25 hours consecutively, high definition 360 footage. This footage everyone's picking apart like they got some big gotcha. That is trash footage compared to what we have. And a lot of people are saying, well, why don't we have it? And that means that you're not very familiar with how video files work. But this is 1.45 terabytes, unheard of size. And it's because it has half the videos in lower res, and then it has all 52 videos that are all consecutive, right? In higher res. The total is 1.45 terabytes. So big that Insta360 actually had to be able to get the file where it could be opened. And that took over 48 hours just to get it where we could open it. You can only open Insta360 files in Insta360's app. We've been researching around the clock, many witnesses to this for days. I've been working on this. Then I get it all downloaded. I have to go buy an external, and I'll keep this as concise as possible. I had to go buy an 8 terabyte external hard drive because my internal SSD on my computer is 1 terabyte. So the file itself is too big to even be on my computer. And it just started to crash my computer because I'm kind of retarded when it comes to computer stuff. I didn't even know that. So I started like filling up my whole thing, right? So then I have to delete all that off and move it over to the external. I do have it right now. I could try to open it even in the stream. If I open one of those files, the odds are that my computer will just immediately start glitching out, and it's just been a nightmare. So that's the truth. And then I'll say I did finally get to where I had all the files together. The maximum for YouTube is 256 gig. That's the maximum that you can upload. So we had it right after 253. We actually had to trim a little bit of time off the 25. So it was still over 24 hours just to get under 253. And then I'm like 14 hours into exporting that. 14 hours in, it's like 65%, and then boom, export failed. So I now have 3-4 other people working on it, trying to also get it all exported. Again, what's the hiccup is the 360 app kind of sucks, and most people use time lapses with their apps, and so it's just like overwhelming their app. So anyway, I literally have 25 hours 360 high definition on my computer. Getting it where it can be exported and shown to other people is kind of tricky, and putting it all together to then put that out has been a nightmare, and it's been taking hours and hours and days and days and days. But that does exist. Anyone that's ever dealt with really big files, they would know it takes like literal days to do a file that big, a high definition video file that big. And I have a 380 Ti, whatever. Like, it's not like I have some trash computer, So we are working on that. And I thought about making the joke, oh, well, we would have the data, but it seems like we lost it. And it's been really difficult to build it back again. But anyway, okay.
I have no doubts that you'll provide the video when you can. And that makes sense in terms of size. I've got a pretty large documentary series, so it does take quite a bit to transfer the whole file package. I didn't get a clear answer, I think, and maybe I missed it on VapeGate. The time with the Owen Benjamin video, was it before or after VapeGate?
After.
Okay. Now, and I will say before I go into my sharing, NASA, to be fair, logically, NASA people use their children to promote lies with T-shirts.
Sure, I agree. It's not proof for anything. I'm just,
yeah. All right.
I just want you to think about what's being done.
A big part of this is what's called footprint gate. And they're basically saying that, and I saw it in the videos, there were areas where people were walking on compacted and uncompacted snow, where footprints already existed, where they were, and I can show the video if you guys want, but that's essentially the argument. There's no footprints where people walk where there should be, and there are other prints. So what's going on with that one? Footprint gate. And I've heard the rebuttals around the Antarctic Marathon and such. There's, if you keep going in the footage, footprints everywhere.
Well, that
kind of wind.
Kind of proves the point, right? Which with the marathon, sometimes there's footprints, sometimes there's not, because undoubtedly in the marathon, you can zoom in and see it looks like they don't leave footprints. Now, I've seen someone actually show different frames over the course of the day of the, not the best video that's been released, and you do see an accumulation of footprints. All right, so, it is really compacted ice, effectively. You can't even really call it snow. It's just ice, and it doesn't really precipitate there like an inch a year. It is compacted ice. Like if you fell on it, it would hurt. So that's all that I know about it, is that it's compacted ice. And if you look at the video, you don't really see footprints that much, but you do see footprints. And that's why this video will solve all the problems. It's very unfortunate that it isn't out yet, because this is super high definition, nonstop 25 hours. If you look at the time lapse, you see there is an accumulation of footprints, which means obviously there are times where people are walking around and there's leaving footprints. Good question as to why it does sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't even do that in the marathon either, though, right? But we can all agree, though, that if I have this video and we zoom in on someone's foot and the footprint's left behind it and it's just very faint and hard to see it, then obviously this dispels this whole notion. So that's my answer, right? Like the marathon shows that even running on some of that compacted ice, you don't see footprints. And if you look at the footage that has been released, I have seen people show there actually is an accumulation of footprints. You do see footprints in that footage. It's just very, very light. And let's just talk about why. What's a footprint? It's someone stepping on the ground and pushing the ground in. So if there's really compacted ice, then there's going to be no depth with your step. The depth is going to be what makes you see a footprint. There's just really compacted ice. So there's that. I mean, that will be largely squashed with the other video, but from my understanding, I've seen a video that shows even the one that's out actually shows an accumulation of footprints. And again, the marathon shows you that you don't even see the footprint there. So I think we can all agree that obviously makes sense, right? If it's compacted ice, you don't see as many footprints. I'm curious, what is I'm asking in good faith there, what even is the implication there? That the ground is something different, that there's a layered VR ground there or something where there is no snow or ice, and so we're walking. I genuinely don't even understand it.
Possibly some sort of blue or green screen studio ground where you have to walk further away to get snow. There's no snow crunching when one walks. There's no wind. And in the case of no footprints, you might see some show up over time, but they won't necessarily match a person. They'll just show up on their own with the video over time, and that's what we see. We see footprints show up somewhere else beside where people were walking, but no footprints where people are walking, even when they cross what you might, I don't know what you call it in snow terms, but the sand dune, the height of the sand dune, basically, if you're walking the top of the dunes, you would find more damage than you would, on a flat surface of sand. It's the same with the snow. Those tiny little bridges of snow that we see in the video footage essentially provide a weak surface for a large boot to crush. And there's no impaction sound. There's no damage to those snow bridges whatsoever. Those dunes in snow, whatever you call them. And what we do see is that there are boots all over the place in terms of prints. So unless you're arguing that a very heavy man made all of those prints and everybody on video was light enough, they could not have crushed the ice further, it just doesn't make sense.
Okay, I'm actually going to test something here. So now, just so everyone knows, I actually did, as a test, take one of the 30-minute segments of the video, upload it to my YouTube. It took an hour and a half, and it's low resolution. So I have one unlisted on my YouTube, one of the 360 shots. So it's 30 minutes, just unedited, uncut. I can test and see if this shows sound. I do know that some of the videos have sound, and you can literally hear all the crunching, okay? So you can hear all the crunching of the sound of them walking on the snow, and you can actually zoom in. On the videos I have on my computer, they're super high resolution, so you can zoom in and see very well. Even when people zoomed out with low resolution, you can't really see footprints. In my video, you can zoom in and see even really, really light footprints. That makes sense when you look at the accumulation over time. Now, I don't know about the whole, like, you're claiming that someone walked on a pile of snow. Like, I would obviously logically think that if someone walked on a pile of snow that wasn't super compacted, that it would go down some, but I haven't seen that. And the only footage that's been out is time lapse. So I find it hard to believe that anyone has actually seen someone step on there and then it not change at all. But as to the me walk away for snow thing, this is another, and I'll share that just a sec. That's another thing that was just is being deceptively edited and pushed around. So and this is on my own live stream. So someone asked me to get snow. I'm like, okay, I'll need to get gloves, right? And that's when you have the whole quote unquote vape gate thing. I put my gloves on. I know there's like a ridge of snow over there. So I go over there to get the snow because where I was standing is really compacted. Now, obviously, I'm like delirious at this point because there is actually a pile to my left if you look right there. Well, I'm looking at one of the 360 videos right now. So anyway, the point is that then I come back and I drop the snow, right? And I notice that I'm kind of like this, like my hands are partially below the camera. And so at that point, I'm like, dude, people are being so conspiratorial. Like, that's not going to cut it, right? I'm going to have to pick the snow up again. And when I had walked back to the computer, I realized there was another pile down there, like close to the computer. I was just like retarded and didn't know that it was there. So then I just been right back down by the computer and pick up a new thing of snow. And so for someone to say, well, Austin had to walk away from the computer to pick up the snow because, I don't know, they're in a studio and there was just fake snow back there or whatever, isn't true. And in order to make that claim, you actually have to cut the next 10 seconds off because the second time I pick up snow, it's right by the computer, right? Completely dispelling this claim that I couldn't pick up the snow there. And that's just a perfect example of what's going on here. And I mean, you know, Hitchens Razor says don't attribute incompetence to, or don't attribute malice to that which can be adequately explained with incompetence. I want to believe that, like with the VapeGate thing, that was intentional. Someone's a deceptive liar. With this one, I guess you could cut it off. I don't know. So I'll share your stream, but I think that's probably pretty important that claim should no longer be repeated. And I don't even know what the point of the claim is. Do you guys see it showing up? Oh, there it is. There's. Wait, are you guys like frozen? Yikes. Can you guys hear me or talk or confirm anything?
I hear you.
Okay. Dustin, do you hear us?
Yes. How about now?
Yeah, I hear you now. Now, I don't know if I
Weird.
see you.
I was unmuted, but it wasn't. Okay, strange. You guys can see the screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I can make a big screen. Can you make it bigger?
Yeah, this is, you know, boot gate basically.
Yeah.
And or that's pretty deep and a big, you know, a average size person. I don't know whose boot that is, but an average size person's boots leave no new prints when he's walking on it there, like nothing. Not even not even like a damage to the top of those, much less crushing them the way that all of these other footprints are. So it's hard to argue that it's too hard or frozen when there's footprints everywhere around it. And
when
then
were
the,
those
you know,
footprints, Dustin? When were those footprints put there?
That's a good question. I don't know.
This looks like Liz.
Days earlier when it was warmer or something.
It could be.
You can't. You ever see like a mud print of an ancient print of an animal? Well, it's hard. If you walk on it now, it's a rock, but now it's soft. It's the same thing with snow. There's soft snow, and then it gets cold and it freezes. And
what sucks is I'm so tempted to pull up one of these videos I have because we could disprove everything right now, and I'm so scared it's going to ruin the stream.
You know, file it away and bring it up after, I guess. But the rebuttal to, and this is not my video, I mirrored it, but someone had seen, and I saw your rebuttal as well, Dave, and someone had basically took that clip and just kept going, because it is hard to see the footprints coming around that angle. And you do see a lot of them if you just keep going on that clip. Like I watched the full marathon footage as well. You know, there's a lot of wind, there's a lot of snow crunch, there's a lot of audio distortion from the wind, there's a lot of
there's not a lot of wind in the marathon, bro. Like they have an Instagram where they're interviewing everyone with the marathon and there's no wind.
The flags are waving.
I'm not saying there's like when I'm saying people are acting like we should have always heard wind in our videos. That's not even true though, because I've watched the interviews from the marathon and it's super quiet. So just to clarify, your position is that the marathon was real.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with the marathon.
Okay.
I didn't look into it that deeply though. I mean, not like I did with this.
You know, it's been going on for years and years and years, and that would be like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't trust anything in Antarctica. I don't think anyone should.
Okay. Well, I will tell what
place in the world.
I will tell what really. Well, yeah, of course. That's what I mean, dude. Trust me, it was a trip. I just went there, and all I did was go to the approved place they let me go. Of course, right? But I did fly over Antarctica to get there, and so like, trust me, there's a place with tons of ice, that you just fly for a good amount of time into. But I met tons of the marathon runners, like met a lot of them, but really talked to like one of the guys, and it's actually documented by the guy that was filming Jonathan. And we got mic'd up and had a whole conversation about geocentrism and flat earth, all of that. And then they went to the Antarctica to run the marathon the day before us. And when our plane came in, let us out, then they brought them over and loaded them up on the same plane, right? Because it's always people in, people out. You can't just like fly in and out. It would be like ridiculous. So it would be very inefficient or whatever. So for sure there was a marathon there. I talked to many of the people that ran it. Basically what they do is they try to run a marathon on every continent. Only 300 something people have ever run one on all 7 continents. And so it's part of the 7 Club marathon, whatever. The marathon happened right before we got there. And if I'm not mistaken, the marathon actually comes by this area that we were at. There are red flags lined up around where we were at. And they had this over here. This little blue thing was already over here before we got here in case the marathon runners needed it. So, but anyway, because that's important distinction. If you're saying like, if we're going to compare against the marathon, what's going to normally happen and the way that people have been acting is once the marathon footage, that evidence isn't consistent with the narrative someone's claiming about ours. They just move the goalpost over to say, oh, well, the marathon was faked as well. So it becomes unfalsifiable pretty quickly. I don't know. You got to understand, like you see clearly, you don't see that person's footprint. And then later, and certain times you do see footprints. So it's obviously going to be largely based on angle and all that. And then let me address one more thing, and then I'm going to go back to you because it looks like you're sharing something. Like with the whole you can't hear anything. Well, yeah, because the video that was released at this spot doesn't have sound. The videos that I have, that the live streams we did at Union Glacier, you can hear it. You can absolutely hear us walking around in snow the whole time. Like Jaren's live streams, you can hear him walking around in snow the whole time. So I don't understand it. I'm sure that even on my stream, when I walk away, you can hear me walking. Now, when it's really compacted, it makes less sound, but you can hear it. You can hear it. And on some of the footage that we have here, that's being really hard to upload, you can hear it. So just to point that out, and there was basically no wind when we first got there. It was like perfect weather. There are mountains kind of around you, but the second day, lots of wind. I just want to address this as well. I'm pretty sure we have multiple videos of, we were like, well, how does snow compile? Why do you even need shovels here if it never snows, right? And then we found out when the storm was coming in, and so it got really windy that night, our tent was super loud. The first night it wasn't. The second night it was like super loud. You could hear the zippers. It was like miserable to try to sleep. And because there was a storm coming, when you look out in the mountains in the distance, you can see all this snow flying off the top of the mountain. So basically what happens is when wind comes in real strong, it takes all that snow that's on the top of the mountains resting and it throws it over by the camp. And so we have videos of that in the distance, all the snow flying off of, and obviously there is a lot of wind, like the last day we were there. So I'm just telling everyone what happened. That's what happens. So everyone knows. Are you trying to share something else that I see or no? Okay.
Well, I'm ready to whenever we get to that next step. I want to address a couple, like just 2 points.
Sure.
Flat Earth Dave brought up a good point that it could have frozen after the prints, but in that same footage of the footprint gate, whatever, you do see other steps that show up later, but it doesn't seem like they're made by anyone. Now, maybe they are, and maybe just the heavy guy came through and made those prints. I'm happy to be proven wrong on that, but I don't think that was the case. And for sure that there are people walking all over the place where it's already damaged snow, already in some cases, an inch deeper at least, and they're not even having an uneven step. Like their front of their foot should be downward or something. There's some issues with this footage. I can't trust the footprint gate, so to speak. And I did hear a lot of snow crunch at the very least in other videos. Even if the wind wasn't showing up, like the snow crunch anywhere near a camera was noticeable. They had it down near their feet, and that's something to, of course it would be a little bit more noticeable, but it was loud.
Okay, so to show everyone what we have 25 hours of this. Okay. This is a test. It took me a long time to even get this up. And what it does is it processes after like an hour, and then it says processing up to 4K. And you can see this is obviously very high resolution. So if someone walks by the camera, I picked a random video out of the group. I don't know if anyone walks by the camera here, but I do know that at the beginning, people do. You'd be able to zoom in on there and listen. Let's see. It's not really showing me, unfortunately, because the 360 is not showing me the preview. But if someone walks over here, you could zoom in here. Now, and even on my raw video files, you can zoom in. Look at how good the resolution here is, though, all things considered. On my video, on my camera, on my computer, you can zoom in. Now we have, I want you to just everyone understand what is coming as fast as possible. Now we have multiple people working on it. The sun, the way you're going to see the sun move is after 30 minutes, right? So the sun starts right here, and then it ends right there. That's 30 minutes. So it's 25 hours of that. 25 hours, all the people walking through the whole thing, and you can, the closer they are to here, the more you're going to see. But there are footprints all over the place, all around where this thing was set up.
So they should be showing up.
Correct. Like as when there are obviously times when people walk, you're going to see them. What everyone has right now is a pretty low quality, low res time lapse 360 time lapse. So it's taking pictures with seconds in between these pictures. Not the same at all as this, right? So.
What is the dark object there in the bottom, if you don't mind me asking? That's round.
This right here?
Yeah.
This is
the shadow.
This right here. This is something to do with
shadow.
Yeah, I don't know. This is whatever this is the 360 camera, right? So this is whatever. This is like what the camera's on. I don't even know what this is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something to do with the 360 camera, though. I'm sure
it's darker than a shadow. It
looks like it's some artifact of the camera.
Okay.
360 camera, but whatever it is, it can be figured out. Cause I don't know. I was here when this was set up. So this is what I want to see. Though I want to see if we can luckily find someone walking. We don't have to do this right now live. It's fine, but we should be able to find someone.
Didn't I hear crunching when you showed somebody walking at the beginning?
Maybe. Do you guys hear sound?
Yeah.
You guys hear sound?
Go back to where you saw the guy walking to see if we hear anything. I turned off my camera because I got low internet.
I just don't know. You saw some. Oh, when they were like over here, maybe.
Yeah.
This is obviously McKeegan.
So wait for him to walk.
I can't hear sound.
I hear wind.
I guess as long as you guys can hear it.
Sounds like it's outside of a tent. It's muffled, but it's there.
It's a little bit of crunching right there. So does that? Do you
wait.
retract your?
As to why those footprints didn't show up, but this is interesting for both the wind and the crunch.
Yeah, you can obviously see that so another question, and I'll say real fast, is like people were asking me why I hadn't streamed sooner. I wanted this footage freaking out, bro. Right? I want the footage out. I want the 25-hour 360 high definition out, because I know that it's going to dispel so many of the things that are being said. And I've been like working around the clock. I got here sick back from Tennessee, and I've been staying up. And there are people in Discord who've seen it, been helping me, sharing my screenshot. So people in Discord have seen a lot of the footage already, like up till 4 a.m, trying to export stuff, trying to work on this stuff. I'm still like way behind on sleep. I still have a crazy cough. I'm still sick, all that. So that is the answer for people asking why I had not streamed. I really wanted to get this up. And then once after 14 or 16 hours or whatever, the freaking export failed, I'm like, okay, screw it. We're going live. So there you go. You said you have something else you want to show or bring up? Is it still playing? Someone? Oh, okay.
Yeah, can you see it? They're calling it Drone Gate.
Yeah.
I call it Duffy Drone Gate. So I'll pull the video up real fast. It's at the 1850 mark here. People can follow along if they want. Stupid ads. Essentially, what's argued, what's alleged, and I found this stuff from other people. I was urging people to withhold judgment and be cautious and wait until we heard everybody's side for many days at first. But basically, they're saying that Duffy's drone hit a wall. And the rebuttal that I've heard from many people is that, no, that was McToon. And I don't think anyone's going to dispute that is the motion sensor alarm of the drone, which is standard for that type of drone, which, Duffy identified. But I think that the rebuttal for the obvious it was McToon is that the drone past McToon continued to diminish in urgency and then suddenly increased in urgency as it hit something else away from him. And I think that something else would have been the wall. Have you been following that one?
No, not really. All I've heard is that the drone beeped when it got close to McToon, and only then did people kind of revise the claim and start moving the goalposts yet again and saying, oh, well, no, I think that part of it, he's not around it. And my understanding was that McToon actually did follow it. The whole point was to disprove the green screen by McToon following and giving the second angle of the screen. So, that's all I know about that.
Okay.
Because I was just there. I saw them starting the stream. I saw him fly the drone up, and I thought it was all really gay and lame. They were way more focused on trying to convince you guys. Jaron and I were just like, screw whoever doesn't believe it. So, that's just the truth.
Yeah. Okay. So let me get 1850, not 1550. Here we go. He's got the drone up.
Yeah.
You guys hear the beeping?
I don't.
Well, it's a little quiet, isn't it?
Well, I don't hear it at all. So maybe when you share it.
Okay. So people should definitely check out that video. I think that the drone, basically, as I said, and I didn't move the goalpost. It was always that way for me. It always looked like it hit off Duffy, proving that there is a motion sensor, a proximity alert, and then it continued to alert off something further from him, further past him, as it got further from him. And that is, unfortunately, all this stuff is tied together. I can't just extract VapeGate from it and Witsit's no longer involved. It's, this is a indicator that Duffy was in fact lying about the whole thing and that everyone there was involved.
Well, wait, are you saying that when they showed that McToon was by the drone, he actually wasn't by the drone? Is that what you're saying?
No, he was by the drone, and it did alert off of him with a increasing urgency, like closer noise, and then decreasing further, less urgent, and then urgent.
Because McToon started following the drone. And from my understanding, you can even show that on the stream, his stream, because they both streamed at the same time. So it got really close to him, and it went away from him, as in Duffy and McToon both streamed at the same time, which was the whole point, to disprove the green screen. So McToon was going out and following the drone to prove. So then the drone gets closer, beep, 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 beep. It gets past him, and then McToon starts following the drone. As he approaches it and gets closer, starts beeping again, like proximity-wise. So
unfortunately, the noise doesn't show up because it's kind of quiet in here.
And I don't even hear it at all. No, I think because I know you can share. You have to make sure you share with sound, right? Because